Hello everyone, my name is Pukar Dhital. I'm an English instructor and today we're following Grade 5 English. We'll be covering adjective and adverb from the chapter describing people. So let's begin the class.
So as per the grammar in the book, number 7, we have write and read. Write and read, okay? So it's pretty simple exercise. So we have here jumbled up words, and as per the book here, see, blue, eyes, and there is he as well, H capital he. There's no slash in between this time. Shirt, hair, and there's slash here. Remember, the chapter name is describing people. So here, our only task is to describe see here, or the pronoun see here, and we can also see he here. So it's more about description. So we have to make sentence now, making sure that it makes sense using these jumbled up words. So the book has given an example. She has got blue eyes. And it could also be written in another form. Her eyes are blue. Now remember, we also have he here. He, shirt, hair. So we have to make something out of it. See, now the first two sentences are made from these jumbled words. The first part, she, blue eyes. So she has got blue eyes. Or rather, to say the same thing in another way, her eyes are blue. So it just means the same. So now coming to he, what do you think you can write? He has got short hair. He has got short hair. And secondly, his hair is short. So the same thing written in two different ways, all right? And these jumbled up words, we've turned this into a sentence which makes sense. Let's proceed further. Now we have number 2, he / long / nose, and there is she / long / hair. So what do you think you can make out of it? See, he, long nose. Again, there is the other part to it. She, long hair. So just like the example, you can write pretty simple. He has got long nose. The next form could be his nose is long. And I'm pretty sure now, it's pretty simple exercise. You follow the example and you can very well do see long hair. All right. Write these things. Describe see here. All right, using these jumble up sentences and following the examples, of course, and you can write this in two different ways, just like this, just like these examples here. And I'm sure you can do that as a classwork or homework. And apart from that, so you do that on your own, all right? Maybe you can do it in the classroom and say it to your teacher. And the other question is see black eyes, see round face. Okay, so here we have a space, quite a good space, so you know that there are two jumbled up sentences here. Here, even without a space, you have to assume it, because see, you have two separate subject or pronouns here, he and she. So, of course, you can do it in the same manner. You can do it in the classroom, or you can do it as a homework. Let's proceed further. Now, moving further, we have an exercise, A, add ly to these adjectives to make adverbs. Now here we go. Add ly to these adjectives, meaning adjectives are given here to make what? To make adverbs. So we got to figure out then first what is adjective. I don't want you to rot learn what is adjective. It's just simple. Let's understand it in a very simple manner with examples here. The big cat crossed the road. Mrs. Smith lost her blue purse. That mountain looks tall. Now let's look at these sentences here. Here I'm going to circle or underline big. Here I'm going to underline blue. And here I'm going to underline tall. So I have underlined these words here because they are all adjectives. And why are they adjectives? Because they are, in a way, describing or defining or giving better definition to the noun here. Noun, which is cat here. So how is the cat? The cat is big. The big cat, see, describes the noun. Mrs. Smith lost her blue purse. So which color was the purse? It was blue purse. That's why blue is adjective here. Big is adjective here. The mountain looks tall. See, meaning the mountain is tall here. It describes the tall was the mountain. Tall defines that, okay, mountain was tall. That's why we know adjective commonly is known as describing word. Because the word big itself describes that the cat is big. Blue defines the color. Tall defines the size. Again, okay? So that is adjective. It gives vivid description to the noun. Okay? Now, again, now that we've understood, so adjectives are given. Okay? Now we have to change these adjectives to adverbs. So again, our next question arises, what is adverb then? So how do we define adverb then? So we can say adverb modifies. Adverb modifies, meaning it gives us more information. All right, gives more information. It modifies a verb, right? It could be adjective. Sometimes it could be phrase as well. Sometimes it ends up modifying adverb itself. All right, so say a verb, adjective, phrase, etc. in a sentence. Now I'm going to clarify this more with an example. So whenever it modifies, adverb modifies a verb by giving us information about the following aspects of verb. So whenever it modifies a verb or any phrase or adjective in a sentence, it always provides the following information or following aspects on the verb. Like for instance, how an action occurs. So adverb defines how an action occurs. Where an action occurs. Where an action occurs. When an action occurs. When an action occurs. And finally, how often an action occurs. See? So it always defines these four questions here. How an action occurs, where an action occurs, when an action occurs, or how often an action occurs. Now, depending on this, we will then have, see, it's not in the book, it's something worth knowing. So depending on this, we can say, depending on those four aspects, we can say that adverbs are of four types. Adverbs are of four types. All right. So number one, we can say adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner. Now, the exercise which you're about to do is all about adverbs of manner. Now, things to notice about this is in adverbs of manner, which is frequently used, by the way, all right, it ends in ly. It tells us how things are done. It tells us how things are done. Example, like for instance, happily, sadly, quickly. Remember all these ending in ly. Slowly. See, all these things. It could also be greedily, let's say, greedily, greedily, etc. See, they're all adverbs of manner. It tells us how things are done. Oh, he did the homework happily. He happily welcomed the visitor. See, ends in ly. Don't forget that. That's quickly, slowly, greedily. So that's one of the types of adverb. Go to number two. We have adverbs of place, which we keep using, of course, but we're often not aware of this. Adverbs of place. All right. Like for instance, place doesn't mean that we have to be any noun, right? It means near, which denotes a place rather. Okay, which denotes near, there. Here could be adverb of place. Somewhere, anything that relates to a place. Okay, somewhere, outside, even inside. See, they're all adverbs or of place. Even bottom, let's say, bottom, etc. They're all adverb of place. Next, we have adverbs of time. Adverbs of time. So having said time, we're not being specific about any particular time that your watch shows. All right, it's rather anything that relates to time, like yesterday. Even they are adverbs. See, yesterday, now, then, tomorrow, today, late. See, soon. Anything that relates to time, they are again adverbs of time. And finally, number D, we have adverbs of frequency or adverbs of degree. Adverbs of frequency. It also determines the intensity, all right, like often or degree. Often, sometime, sometimes, usually, see. Seldom, it's also frequency. The intensity, the number of time it's repeated, perhaps. The degree or the intensity. Occasionally also, etc. So these are all adverbs of frequency, right? So this is something worth knowing. Now let's continue with our exercise, which says add ly to these adjectives to make adverbs. Remember that part? So as for that, we now do the exercises. Let me copy the heading once again. Add ly to these adjectives to make adverbs. Now we know what is adjective, and now we know what is adverb. Now here we're dealing with adverb of manner, meaning it's going to end in ly here. Now to begin with, we begin with slow, slowly. These are the examples given in the book. Careful, careful, carefully. Clever. Hey, what do you make of clever? Cleverly, cleverly. See? And rest you can do it as a homework. I'm going to write it down here. Okay? Beautiful. We'll figure it out. Smart, smart. Figure it out. Remember how things are done, right? Brave. How things are done. He fought the battle bravely. See? Meaning he bravely fought the battle. So how's the thing done here? Bravely. So this is how it works, how things are done. Finally, honest. So that's what happens here. Beautiful, smart, brave, honest. Now this you can do it as a homework, or you can do it in the class itself and show it to a teacher. Now that we also know what is adjective, there's one more thing I want to include here. That's exercise number B. Add er to form the comparative to comparative, and est to form the superlative. Now you might be wondering, hey, what is comparative and what is superlative? All right, so there's this thing also called what I call positive. Then comes comparative. They're all adjectives. Don't forget that. I'm going to tell you what's the difference there. I will tell you that. Superlative. So we have positive here, comparative here, superlative here. Now, if I give you an example of honest, honest is an adjective, and this is in the neutral form. Okay, the first form, honest. Now, as per the question, it says add er and est. Add er to form comparative, est to form superlative. But if I write it something like honester, est, er, honester in comparative, and if I write honestest, n-e-s-t-e-s-t, honestest in superlative, now as per the heading, I should be right. The heading says add er and est to form comparative and superlative. But if I add er as said by the heading here in comparative and est as said by the heading here in superlative, I am going to get wrong here, because this doesn't apply every time. To the adjective like honest, it's comparative, meaning better form of honest would be more honest. And its superlative form would be most honest. Let me give you one more example. Beautiful. Beautiful. You cannot write beautifuler. You'll have to write down to show the degree that what is the next form beyond beautiful? It's more beautiful. More beautiful. What is the next form to more beautiful? If you have to say something who is beyond more beautiful, then again you'll say, of course, most beautiful. All right. So there are words, there are adjectives where we have to find that, where we have to add more and most to make it comparative and superlative. And your homework would be to figure it out. Hey, what more adjectives are there where you add more and most? And as per the book, now we follow the book. The book says tall, and now this is pretty simple exercise. And now, as it says, you just make it taller, and then tallest. So why are we adding this er and est? For example, let's say in grade 5, Ram is a tall boy in grade 5, but Sita is taller, meaning Sita is its degree of comparison where the intensity rises every time, when it goes from positive to comparative, and again when it moves from comparative to superlative, the intensity rises, it goes higher. Meaning here Ram is a tall boy in grade 5, but Sita is taller. Among all the students, Jack is the tallest in grade 5. See? Again, now comes Jack, who is the tallest. Meaning, of course, Ram is tall, but Jack is the tallest. So this is how it intensifies. Comparative intensifies, all right? It intensifies the adjectives, make it more vivid, okay? So there are a few more adjectives which you do it as a homework, okay? So this is positive, And here we have comparative. And finally we have superlative. Positive, comparative, and superlative. So here are the words. Now tall is done. You can work on big, high, fast, slow, bright, long, and finally we have far. So figure out the comparative and superlative of these positive adjectives. And this you can do it as homework, and thank you very much. If you have any queries, feel free to email us at learning@deerwalk.edu.nb. Thank you so much.